Hello then, thank you for staying with us right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Wachuku and here are the top stories. Turji threatens retaliation over arrest of key associate Wurgi. Airstrike neutralizes dozens of ISWAP terrorists in Malam Faturi. Egbetokun bans Nigerian police from phone checks, arbitrary arrest. Confusion rocks CCT as two top northerners continue battle for chairman. And opposition declare party makes bold prediction ahead of 2027. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The news begins with notorious bandit leader Bello Turji issuing threats of reprisal following the recent arrest of his close associate Bako Wurgi by troops of the Nigerian army. Wurgi, also known as Bakana Garba, was a key figure in Turji's network, playing a crucial role in ransom negotiations and the collection of payments from kidnappings. Security analyst and counterinsurgency expert in the Lake Chad region, Zagazola Makama, revealed that Wurgi's arrest has infuriated Turji, who is now threatening retaliatory attacks. Recall that a few days ago, troops from the 1 Brigade of the Nigerian Army apprehended Wurgi following credible intelligence. He was reportedly receiving medical treatment at a hospital in Shinkanfi Towns in Fada State after sustaining injuries during a violent clash with a rival group. Wurgi's criminal activities include arms dealing and involvement in high-profile killings, including the murder of Alhaji Isa Muhammad Bawa, the Emir of Gobiru in Sokoto State. The traditional ruler was abducted in July at the Kwanar Maharba area of Sokoto State and subsequently killed 3 weeks later after failed ransom negotiations. Now, the army confirmed that during Wurgi's arrest, 2 of his accomplices managed to escape, while troops apprehended another individual who assisted in transporting him using a tricycle. Now, a precision airstrike by the air component of Operation Hadinkai has reportedly killed dozens of Islamic State of West Africa province militants in Malam Faturi, Borno State. The offensive targeted key ISWAP positions, dealing a significant blow to the group's operations in the region. According to counterinsurgency expert Zagazola Makama, intelligence reports had revealed a large gathering of ISWAP fighters around Malam Faturi. Surveillance operations identified vehicles and motorcycles used for the terrorist movements and logistics support. The security publication reads, reconnaissance missions identified a number of vehicles and motorcycles purportedly being utilized for militant movements and logistics support by the terrorists. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Kaide Egbetokun, has issued a stern directive halting the arbitrary arrest, detention, and phone checking of youth by police officers across the country, warning that errant personnel and their supervisors will face severe punishment. The directive, in a wireless message dated December 13, 2024, was sent to all state police commands. It emphasized the need to curb human rights violations and unlawful actions that have tarnished the reputation of the Nigerian police force. Now, the police hierarchy expressed concerns that such impunity and misconduct could reignite public outrage, citing the events of the 2020 #EndSARS protests, which escalated into widespread destruction of properties and loss of lives. The letter, signed by the Department of Operations at the force headquarters, was obtained by PDOM Nigeria. Egbetokun warned that police commissioners and supervisors of commands where such activities occur would also be held accountable alongside the offending officers. Now, there is growing confusion at the Code of Conduct Tribunal as embattled Chairman Danladi Umar and newly appointed Chairman Minasara Kogo both assert leadership over the tribunal. Investigations reveal that both Umar and Kogo have officially visited the tribunal and engaged with staff, leaving no clear directive on who is in charge. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appointed Kogo as the new CCT chairman on July 13, the same day Omolola Oluwaran was announced as the Director General of the National Pension Commission (PENCAM). However, the controversy surrounding Umaru's removal has caused a noticeable slowdown in tribunal activities. Despite this, corruption cases involving public servants are still ongoing, with several charges listed for trial or arraignment. Senior staff members of the tribunal speaking anonymously admitted to being uncertain about who to follow. Both men have addressed them and as civil servants are simply awaiting clear instructions. And still on the world news at 12, in a recent development, the African Democratic Congress has disclosed that it will no longer serve as a tool for politicians. The announcement comes as the party prepares for the 2027 elections, which it said will mark 20 years of participation in Nigeria's electoral process. The ADC National Chairman Dr. Ralph Okenwusu made the disclosure on Monday while addressing the National Executive Committee meeting. He expressed concerns over Nigerian politicians' lack of ideology and the practice of using alternative parties as special purpose vehicles to contest elections. The party, founded in 2006, has fielded presidential candidates since 2007, but the candidates always dumped the party prior to the election proper. It was to also reveal that the party has resolved its internal differences through the Independent National Electoral Commission's alternative dispute resolution mechanism. After 20 years, they have to get it right. Also, the country needs to start building institutions that can stand the test of time, adding that with INEC's ADR, peace has returned to the ADC. You're currently listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll head into our news analysis segment. I'm being joined right here in the studio with Mr. Peter Anosike, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator. Mr. Peter Anosike will definitely be giving us some insights or his purview to some of the questions posed at him on the World News at 12. To kindly stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us. This is still the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Mr. Peter Anosike, good afternoon and thank you for joining us.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Obviously, I'm sure a couple of persons are also happy that you're here. Mr. Peter Anosike, I need your recommendations and also your criticism to some of these questions. First of all, let's look at a situation like this. You recall that on Saturday we heard rumors of Mahmoud Yakub's death. And I've heard also that that's not the first time we're hearing of that. And Nigerians had actually asked and said, okay, we have a situation in this part of the world where when such information comes out, the institution debunks it, and then later it happens to be true. And Nigerians asked for INEC's chairman's video. Let's see a virtual, let's see that virtuality in real terms or in real time that indeed he's alive. Well, amidst the death rumor of Mahmoud Yakub, he attended a meeting with Benin Republic Electoral Body. So apparently they're seeking, they wrote a letter to INEC as a body, as an institution. This is and see how INEC works, understand their modus operandi when it comes to election. Now, you know that in the recent in the recent just concluded elections in Ghana, INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakub immediately responded by saying that they emulated INEC style, they emulated their system, and that's how they had a transparent election. A lot of Nigerians criticized Mahmoud Yakub for making that statement because there's a correlation in whatever form or manner in how those elections were held.
The same warm welcome
I hope
to other senior officials of Senate, to INEC Nigeria.
Bienvenue par les membres de la délégation de la Sénat du Bénin.
Early last month, we received
a letter from Sena
Le mois dernier, nous avons reçu une correspondance de la Sénat
indicating its interest to undertake a steady visit to INEC Nigeria
relative à une visite d'étude de la Sénat du Bénin à la CENI nigériane.
as they prepare for what they described
Raison, le président de la Sénat du Bénin conduit une délégation composée de 12 membres.
comprising advisors, directors, technical and other critical staff to understudy our
electioneering that has improved. Understand me? No right-thinking person has anything that to learn from Nigeria on that's how to rig elections.
So are you saying Benin Republic is invited Mahmoud Yakub to teach them how to rig elections?
Unless they want to learn how to, or the art of rigging an election.
Mr. Peter Onosike,
That's the only
Mahmoud Yakub said INEC conducted elections within their capacity in the best practices internationally acceptable in the just concluded or in the 2023 elections. And if Benin Republic is inviting them to ask them how they went about it, how would you say that it could be about teaching them how they could rig elections, upcoming elections?
Well, conducting an election in his own in their own capacity. In an exam, somebody who scored 15% out of 100 put in his own capacity. Understand me? So they put in he put in his own capacity, the best that he can do, which doesn't meet any standard.
Je souhaitais la bienvenue à mon cher frère et ami, Monsieur le Président de la Sénat du Bénin, Monsieur Sakala.
I also extend the same warm welcome to other senior officials.
Understand? And the election, no election in Nigeria has brought up to 1,000 petitions, that court cases. But that of 2023 brought 1,250. So what are you going to copy in that?
Well, the thing now is the fact that Mahmoud Yakub has appeared in this video. I'm sure you heard the death rumors, which made a lot of Nigerians ask the question, what does this mean? Now, a lot of Nigerians at the time reacted by saying, let's see a video of you. Actually, let's know that it's true. Because anytime you guys, we hear this kind of stories, you say that they're done by mischief makers. And at the end of the day, it turns out to be true. So now he is alive. Obviously, there is a video they have actually gotten, and in that video, he's talking. He seems okay. He seems healthy. He seems good, strong, and vital. What does this stipulate for upcoming elections?
For me, maybe many people wished him dead because of the 2023 election. But for me, I don't.
Would you blame him for how the elections went? What if he was handcuffed? What if he was threatened? I mean, there could have been a number of factors that happened behind the scenes that Nigerians, do not know.
He is he personified the INEC.
Okay.
So if INEC did well, the glory comes to him.
Have you not heard when resident electoral officers say they're announcing election results on their jurors? What if that was somehow the same thing?
That is state. That is state.
Yes, that is state. Yes, it happens.
State. We are talking of the national.
When I mean jurors is what if by some politicians, high-profile politicians at the time. What if this is not a fact? This is not a thing, but There are things that happen behind the scenes that Nigerians may not even be aware
No,
of.
excuse me. Let us exhaust the death issue.
Okay.
I don't want him dead.
Okay.
Not because I love him so much.
Okay.
But I want him to account for that money that he wasted in 2023.
320 billion.
Over 300 billion. Understand me? I want him to account for that.
Okay.
That's why I say I don't want him to die.
Okay.
Understand me?
Okay.
I want him to be enough and explain to Nigerians how he wasted over 300 billion to conduct the worst election in the history of this country.
Well, that was not the only elections that under his chairmanship that was conducted. You had the off-season elections. You even had the recent Edo election and the election before the Edo election. What I'm trying to ask is, he the one
off-season doesn't affect the entirety of the country.
Okay.
I'm talking of the 2023 presidential election.
Who is supposed to ask for that audit? Is it not the executive? Is it not the president that is supposed to say, INEC, give me a report. Let me see how you utilize 320 billion naira for elections.
It is the National Assembly.
Okay.
Because they have a committee on INEC. They have a committee on police. They have a committee on understand me.
The same
It is part of the oversight functions to call INEC, give me an account of how you spend this money. Understand? Assuming that our National Assembly has not become a ministry under the executive, this is what they ought to have done. Call INEC to account for that 300 billion that was wasted because no election was conducted.
No election was conducted.
No election.
Mr. Nosike, you can't generalize like that.
No election was
We
conducted.
saw persons come out to cast their votes. There are some places that the votes actually counted where thugs did not come and intimidate them or elude them or tell them not to cast their votes. Elections went on properly in some polling units. So you conscripting to say elections were not conducted generally, that's your purview.
That money was wasted and need to be accounted for. My tax is involved there. I need to know how that money went.
So your message is to the National Assembly to ensure that INEC chairman, the committee of INEC, responds to Nigerians expecting an audit on how
that money
was utilized.
Because to me, it was a huge waste. One of the biggest wastes we've seen in this country. So up to today, the National Assembly are not saying anything about it. And it's a very bad precedent. Because if they don't account for it, you not expect the people that will conduct 2027 to also account for it. But one thing I know, Yakub is not going to conduct 2027.
All right, with this kind of revelation that you have actually described, the next election is in 2027. How do we know that Mahmoud Yakub will be the INEC chair?
After the off-cycle
elections
that are over, he will go. Tinubu is going to appoint another person.
How do we know the new person wouldn't be as you have described Mahmoud to be? What if you, at that particular point in time when the new person comes, you may even give accolade to the current INEC chairman, to whoever it is that takes over?
Well, unless we want to pass from Buhari to Tinubu, unless we want to, because I thought that Buhari would have been the worst president that this country would have. But the last one and a half months has proved me wrong.
Some persons will say that on paper or some ideas of the president are actually very good ones. It's just very slow for them to take off, for them to reflect, to the very common man. Could this be the reason why things are slow in terms of most of the things the presidency has said, most of the promises they have made? He says it will take pain and it is tough, but Nigerians will feel it. They will eventually get to feel the positivity or the benefits of these policies. So what if it has not gotten to the trenches? Let's use that word. We've not seen the trickle of the benefits of these policies on the trenches, and that's why Nigerians are still groaning. What if that's the case?
Nigerians are tired of hearing things are getting better. Understand? Nigerians are tired of hearing the economy is improving. The inflation is coming down. Security is improving. We measure a government by the quality of life of the citizens. If it's not there, it's not there. You don't build a country with hope and projections. That's in second quarter. No, second quarter has nothing to do with the prices of things in the market.
All right.
Nigerians need security. They need electricity. They need affordable food. They need cheap fuel, not promises, not hope.
What stops the government if they've removed fuel subsidy, right? What stops them from subsidizing vital sectors? For example, you can subsidize food, you can subsidize transportation, you can subsidize, any other thing, maybe importation or tax waiver, something. Just for Nigerians to say, okay, fine, we understand that you've removed fuel subsidy, but you've been able to subsidize other sectors, so we can actually go on, we can adopt or we can adapt to the modifications you're trying to implement. What stops the government from doing that?
For me, it's because they don't feel what the people are feeling.
The president has said he feels your pains, feels your frustration.
Excuse me, a doctor that is administering pain and the person that is feeling that pain are not on the same page. Understand me? A doctor that is treating you that has pain and that doctor are not on the same page. He's not feeling what you are feeling. No matter how concerned he tries that to show. That's one. If these people want Nigerians that to live well, reduce import duties. Simple. Reduce import duties, prices of things will come down in the country. It's not a rocket science, but we have people on top who don't have any empathy for the masses.
Mr. Peter, are you saying that since the past 1 year that the president took over the mantle of leadership, that there is not even one thing that he has done that is positive, that you can consider to be positive?
For me, the only thing which is still in the pipeline is this tax reform.
And that's basically how it is on paper, though, if it's able to reflect.
That's assuming that it will be implemented the way it should be. That net derivation have that 60%.
Okay.
Let those who are producing be enjoying what they are producing. And every state in the country, every local government in the country has that capacity to produce. Enough of this Amajeri system of government.
All right.
If we can get 60% derivation according to this tax reform, governors will become active.
Okay.
They'll begin to think outside the box. So the only thing that I can point out is this tax reform, which, as I said, is still
in the pipeline.
All
right, let's go back to the INEC chair. There was a time that it was reported that INEC chair risked jail term for failing to go after electoral offenders. And Serap actually filed a contempt suit. This was in October 2024. All right. Still in that same October 2024, the court sent INEC Yakubu's contempt warning for refusing to prosecute election offenders. INEC had told us one point in time when they said that they had begun the prosecution of electoral offenders of 2023. And we were waiting for the names of those electoral offenders to be released or they be paraded while we see the procession goes on in court. We've not heard anything about that. Nothing yet. In 2024, Serap filed a suit. The court also told Mahmoud that he's liable to go to court if he doesn't begin the prosecution of those electoral offenders. Now, we've not heard anything. Could this be the reason why we heard the death rumor? Because this was supposed to be what INEC chair is supposed to do. Get the names of those guys, publish it if you had to. Let's see that the case has already begun to be treated in court, and then, we go up from there. Are we saying that we're not going to hear anything anymore about these electoral offenders? And would he go to jail if indeed he refuses the contempt of court, if he refuses to obey court order?
Well, why my mind is telling me that why nobody is being prosecuted is because most of the offenders belong to the ruling party.
Okay.
Because if it's the members of the PDP or LP, they would have been in jail now. So since they are not prosecuting, maybe they've done their investigations and they find out that most of the offenders belong to the ruling party. All of us know what that's Akesanya,
Okay.
AKA Onomo did. Understand? So the reason from what my mind is telling me is that the reason why they have not started prosecuting is because most of them belong to the ruling party.
And that's why you think that the prosecution had not commenced.
Sure.
Because of their loyalty or allegiance to the ruling party.
Yes. If it's the members of the PDP or the Labour Party, they will have been resting in prison since then.
If the court sent INEC Yakub's contempt warning for refusing to prosecute election offenders in October, how long does it take whereby if INEC chair doesn't respect that court warning, how long does it take for him to be sent to jail?
Well, the judiciary is biased, is compromised, is complicit.
You cannot generalize.
Understand?
You cannot generalize that the entire judiciary is biased, is compromised, or is complicit. What's the time frame between when you're given a court summon and then when you now eventually have to obey it? How long does it take? Because he has not responded since then.
Over a year now, isn't it?
Yes, but this time they sent another warning in October. They sent INEC chairman a contempt warning for refusing to prosecute election offenders, but they didn't give us a stipulated time. They just told him that if he fails to do that, he's liable to go to jail. Remember, on July 18, Justice Obiora Egwa to order that INEC chair investigate cases of bribery against state governors and their deputies during the last general elections. This was in July. He was reminded again in August. Serap filed a suit. So since then, we've not seen any reaction. We've not seen any credible action towards all of that. So if that doesn't take place, what's the stipulated period before somebody says, okay, you know what, you're liable to go to jail?
Well, the prosecutors should go and remind courts, understand, that you have given this thing, understand me? Then what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? But the truth is that both those that are to those that are to deliberate on it, understand, and the law enforcement agencies, all of them belong to one party.
All of them belong to one party.
Yes.
That's interesting, Mr. Peter Anosike. Now, let's look at another scenario, which I don't know if it is the right time for them to be saying this. Opposition party, the ADC, say they're no longer political tools, that they are standing firm this time around ahead of 2027 to unseat President Tinubu. We've been hearing this talk. It's not today we've been hearing this conversation. In fact, recently there was a meeting between, what's his name? Donald Duke, Obasanjo, and I think a couple of others as well, with Kwankwaso too, concerning how they can talk concerning the 2024 elections. And the APC has reacted to that. In fact, the APC is saying precisely that they're not bothered about whatever meeting that took place in that gathering or whatever discussion. They asserted confidently that in 2027 they would win. What does that tell you?
Well, every politician is an optimist.
Okay.
So it runs in their DNA. That was why Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso thought that he would win president. Why he's only known in Kano State and to some extent Jigawa State.
Okay.
And that's why Oke Mosu of ADC is also talking about 2027. Why he had not even tested himself in a state assembly election.
Okay.
So for me, APC can talk tough because they know what is in their pocket.
All right.
They know what is in their pocket. But to defeat APC, need a very strong coalition. Understand? Every other political party in Nigeria have to come together, because if the margin is not wide enough,
Okay.
if the margin is not wide enough, it will be easy to rig. Democrats would have rigged the Donald Trump election.
They would have rigged it.
But
The great US would have rigged the elections.
they have been rigging. 2020 was rigged.
2020 was rigged.
2020 was rigged.
Wow.
But 2024 exposed them. Understand? And why it exposed them was because the margin is too big. You cannot use one hand to cover the moon. Understand? The margin was too big for anybody to cover. The whole 7 swing states went to Donald Trump. So it's not every election that you that you can rig. And why 2023 was very easy for them was that it was just a difference of 1 million, 1.5. Understand me? That was why 2023 election was very easy for them to manipulate here. But if we are getting 20 million and 10 million, there's nothing that Yakub can do. There's nothing that Kekereku can do. Understand me? So for APC to be pushed out in 2027, the margin must be so big that it cannot be rigged.
All right.
So it's not what ADC can do on their own. It's not what Labour Party can do on their own. It's not what PDP can do on their own. They need a strong gathering of all the parties in Nigeria.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, a couple of people believe that come 2027, come 2031, if the APC wants to continue, they would continue. So far, it feels like the opposition political parties are too distracted and too focused on themselves to look at the bigger picture, which a couple of persons feel that that's the advantage that the APC has.
And that's their advantage. That's the advantage.
So if that's the case,
if they want to do it alone, APC will continue even till 2050.
So 2050.
Yes.
If they continue like this.
If they continue because the only thing that makes a government in power strong is if the opposition is weak. And today in the country, the opposition is weak.
So what are the opposition members doing about it? We've been seeing meetings, secret meetings happening, but we've not seen anything active happening, taking place.
The truth is that some of them are opposition in the afternoon, but members of the ruling party in the night. So many of them are not sincere to themselves.
So if we have members defecting now to the APC, you have Labour Party members cross-carpeting to the APC, some PDP members leaving to join the APC, or Labour Party joining PDP and all of that, then that means that indeed APC is actually correct, that in 2027 they will win.
No, they have the rigging tool.
What's the rigging tool?
The INEC and the judiciary.
Who says that they have them?
That's why the members of the opposition are crossing over. They want to make use of APC rigging machinery.
Mr. Anosike, that is you saying that.
That's Peter Anosike. That's what my mind.
That could be defamation and slander.
That's what my mind
and
is telling me.
You could be written a summon to.
Wait, you cannot prosecute me for an idea that got into my head because I did not put it there. I did not put it there. Understand me?
The idea got into your head.
Yes, I didn't put it there. I didn't put it there.
Are you not the one that, okay, an idea came into your head.
It came into
you
my
didn't
head.
filter it and you're saying it.
I'm telling you.
So they cannot
no, it is an idea that came into my head. I didn't put it there. Understand me? So the members of the opposition are crossing to the APC because the APC is the party that has the rigging machinery. If not, there's no other reason why somebody will leave LP and go to APC. It's because he is scared in LP. It's because he is scared in LP that he's not sure of winning again under LP.
Interesting. Mr. Peter Anosike, I want to say thank you so much. We actually run out of time. I would have loved us to actually try more questions, but it's already past the time for the news. I sincerely do appreciate your input.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And now to wrap up the world news at 12, here again are the top stories. We had that Bello Turji threatens retaliation over arrest of key associate Wurgi. Airstrike neutralizes dozens of ISWAP terrorists in Malam Fatori. Egbatokum bans Nigerian police from phone checks, arbitrary arrests. Confusion rocks CCT as two top northerners continue battle for chairman. And opposition party makes bold prediction ahead of 2027. That's a wrap on the world news at 12. My name is Esther Nwachuku. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.